What's up, Trojan fans? Welcome to Tunnel Vision, brought to you by USCFootball.com. I'm your host, India Otto, a.k.a. Automatic, here alongside Triple Double, a.k.a. Connor Morrissette, and the boss man himself, Ryan Abraham. We have got a great show for you tonight. We will be discussing and previewing the Oregon Ducks, talk about what the Trojans need to do to get a big win on the road on Saturday. We are live on YouTube and Facebook, and we are taking live calls tonight. The number to call is 512-4TUNNEL. And as usual, leave your questions and comments in the chat. I'll be sure to start, and we'll get to it at the end. We've got an exciting show. Big game ahead on Saturday. Guys, how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. It's, Thursday. I mean, this might be our last preview show because it's Thanksgiving next week. We might have to try to do a different.
We got to do a different schedule.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, when we do the podcast, and if I'm doing the intro or India's doing the intro on the Thursday shows and stuff, and it's like, man, they've gone by quick, and it's like all of a sudden we're like almost at the end of the season.
Crazy.
I don't know where it went.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Biggest USC game since 2022. Let's go.
It is, right? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been some big ones this year, and then USC got some gutty wins, and the Michigan game probably the best performance that USC's had, and they've had some good opportunities. The Notre Dame game, at Illinois, this was that other ranked road game that you saw in the beginning of the season that most people thought, oh, that's the game that they're going to lose. But being 8-2 and 6-1 in the conference, it's been pretty chalky the whole season. Now you have an opportunity to buck the trend and actually get a big road win. So we will see if USC does it. But it's going to be a big one. We're going to be heading up there tomorrow.
Tomorrow, this would be the biggest win of the Lincoln Riley era. It's just fun to have a game that means so much this late in the year. I'm really looking forward to seeing what USC has up its sleeve in this game, because after practice yesterday, everyone was just saying we're going to focus on what we can control, not saying anything about Oregon. How do you stop their running game? What do you think of their running backs? What do you think of this, that? Well, we're just focused on USC. I think they got some stuff up their sleeve, Ryan, potentially, so we'll see.
So Connor's got a little secret sauce here, some optimism behind the scenes. You think he's a negative guy. Wait till the picks at the end of this, and you'll see what he has to say. But, it's huge, obviously, massive matchup, and I did the CBS Sports show this morning, helping preview the game. And, it's not just – this is one of those things where it's like a big rivalry. And as far as it's not just on the field, Oregon takes this one seriously because Oregon sort of wants to do what USC was, be like the power on the West Coast. And they've really stepped up recruiting. Obviously, you got the Phil Knight and everything going on. And then this last cycle, USC sort of fought back, where USC wasn't really fighting back when it came to the top recruits. Oregon was just able to get most of them. And USC brings in Chad Bowden, and now they're actually competing for the top recruits. And, that's doesn't help Oregon's cause. They'd much rather have a struggling USC where they're not going after those guys, and now USC is. So I think it makes the rivalry even more, there's more juice to it, because Dan Lanning is a complete psycho, and he's going to, this one has been circled for everybody at Oregon for a long time. They look at USC as that this rivalry that they want to go in and just destroy USC. This could be one where Dan Lanning is we've seen them kind of play up and down. They played really well, I think, their last game Friday night against Minnesota, but they've sort of played with their food in some of these games. This is one I don't think, if USC goes and gets the win, it's going to be against a really good effort from Oregon, because I feel like this is something that this program, the coaching staff, the players, they've circled this one for a while. It's an important one, and I think USC has to treat it that way. USC treated the Michigan game like it was the Super Bowl. I think Notre Dame treated the USC game like it was a Super Bowl, and USC didn't. USC needs to make sure they go and treat this one like the Super Bowl, because Oregon is going to.
I'm with you. And what was so great about the Iowa win was, we talked about it on Wednesday, I felt like Iowa played pretty well in the second half, and USC was just a better team. And so it wasn't a situation where, they had all these turnovers and there was this matchup that USC exploited. USC just did what they did, and they were just better. And so you go into Oregon now with that confidence. It's a hostile road environment. Oregon is better than Iowa. They beat Iowa earlier this season, but that game should build up some confidence with USC that last week we just out-executed our opponent, who was pretty good, and if they can do that again, it's a new challenge, of course, that will be significant. So I'm with you. I think they're going to get a really good test from Oregon. Oregon's going to be ready to go. They're going to have their I's dotted, their T's crossed, but it's a different situation a little bit. Last week against Iowa gives me confidence that USC has an opportunity to go into that game and potentially get a win. I'll save the pick for the end. It sounds like I'm hyping up a USC pick. I wouldn't get too excited about that, but they have a chance, and I think that's really a big part of this. Where 2 years ago when they went up to Oregon, they covered the spread, but I don't think anyone thought they had a chance to win, and now they do. Huge.
I think the concerning thing that you said early on was talking about when you're asking questions about the opponent, and it was more about, it's about us and stuff. And I think there's, there could be something to be said from that, but also I think if you were asking Notre Dame players the week of the USC game, they weren't saying, it's all about us. There was a reason this team's ducking our rivalry. That they wanted to go beat USC. And I didn't get that sense there. So maybe it's a little concerning that USC, maybe it's just externally, maybe internally they're talking about Oregon and how it's important for building your roster to beat this team and all of that stuff. They want to come and take what you have, and are you going to let them do it? So I think there's a lot of motivation for USC to treat this like the Super Bowl. But some of the answers you're getting, I don't know if it wasn't outwardly expressing like this is our Super Bowl.
Well, they're so well trained over there with the media stuff that they do. So I get what you're saying, and it would have been great for us. We would have had a great story if someone talked about that, but that's just not how they've operated. Getting into the X's and O's with this game, I saw someone on the Peristyle put together a really good post talking about how when Indiana went into Autzen Stadium and won, the Indiana linebackers were tremendous and a big key to that game, and that led to Oregon going away from the running game that they wanted to do and having to pass more. So when I look at the game breakdown, USC, Oregon, I start with the linebacking core of Desmond Stevens, Eric Gentry, Jaden Walker. Will Danton Lynn try to do what Indiana did, have the three linebackers out on the field? Or is it going to be a different situation, and maybe there's another way that Lynn will try to compete with Indiana, but with Oregon. It's a big opportunity for USC's linebackers, who for the last 3 weeks have played much better after that disappointing Notre Dame game. But this, on the road against that offensive line, those running backs, this is a new challenge. And for USC to be competitive in the fourth quarter, I look at the linebackers as really being a huge part of the equation here, more so than the past couple weeks where Nebraska's a run-first team. Northwestern's a run-first team. Iowa, obviously, a run-first team. Oregon is too, but they have a passing attack that's good enough to make you respect it. And I think in this game, Oregon likes to spread you out, and they're going to make specific players have to make decisions and think, and that hasn't been a good recipe for USC's linebackers so far. So I start with that matchup. If USC gets good linebacker play this week, that's going to go a long way towards being competitive.
Yeah, they're going to need to, and I think people in the chat were talking a little bit too. It's like you need a all four-quarter effort. Like USC's just not come out of the gate.
Can't start slow this week.
This is one that's really important to play. If you're going to play good defense, don't wait till the third quarter. And USC's played great defense in the second half of the last 3 games, 6 points total in those contests. But this is one I don't think you can have. We saw Mark Gronowski last week run for a touchdown, catch a touchdown, and throw for a touchdown. And if you let Dante Moore start off that way, or they run the ball that way, I think it's going to be hard. If it's 21-7 Oregon, I don't think you're coming back like you can against Iowa. So you need a more consistent. Oregon's going to get theirs, but you can't just let them go off like the Iowa offense went off early, and then you're going to be down a couple scores and you're not going to be able to come back from it. So I feel like that's one of those situations. But I mean, looking at what you were talking about and what USC needs to do, as soon as just watching the games this year, the comp in my mind has just been Notre Dame. It's a team that's a run the ball first kind of program, but CJ Carr can really hurt you with his arm. And I think Dante Moore the same thing. He was a Heisman favorite early, and then things sort of dropped off. But he's, he can be really efficient with the ball. He's, really accurate. They really like what he's able to do there. But this is a run first type of team. They have really good defensive lines, offensive line. They're just going to play stout, big man football. And what did Notre Dame do? They bullied USC, pushed them around, and ran for over 300 yards. And if I'm looking at what game is the most similar, it's the road game against Notre Dame. And so that, obviously USC can't have that kind of effort, because if Oregon's going to run for 300 yards, USC's not winning the game. So can USC learn from the mistakes from the Fighting Irish game? And so to me, that's the comp in my mind. And that's why it's just hard for me to, USC's done really, kudos to what USC's been able to do. Tough, hard-fought victories. Games they would have lost last year, they're winning. This one, I feel like I've seen it already at Notre Dame. So if they need a different kind of effort. And they weren't out of that game. Obviously, they took the lead in the third quarter and all that, and then things kind of fell apart with the kickoff return and everything. But that's a comp in my mind. So it's hard for me to kind of get that out of my head and say, oh, yeah, USC's going to go up there and play really well. I'm seeing Notre Dame, and that's kind of disturbing.
I do think USC is better than when they played Notre Dame, but I agree with you. It looks like they're going to play two teams with a chance to make the college football playoff, Notre Dame and then Oregon. That first game, giving up all those rushing yards against Notre Dame, not exactly a great place to be. But I think they're improved, and they've made changes for the better, and there's more belief. The fact that they have a 4-game Big Ten win streak right now is significant, a 3-game winning streak overall. They've put some things together. They've figured some things out, and that confidence should lead them to competing. And I don't anticipate Jordan Davison running for 70 yards on the second carry of the game. And if that happens, then, well, we've seen that movie before. It's not going to end well for USC. I have to think that they're going to be more prepared and just in a better spot than that Notre Dame game. I do think Notre Dame's running backs are better than Oregon's running backs. Oregon probably has the better offensive line, so that'll be part of it too. If it looks like the Notre Dame game, then that would be massively disappointing.
We have some people in the chat asking about injury updates. If you have any injury updates or any updates on Oregon side as well.
So I don't think Bishop Fitzgerald will play. It sounds like Kamari Ramsey might be a game-time decision, is something I've heard. And Elijah Page, Chris isn't very confident he'll play, so he's a maybe too. So not great news. And then on Oregon's side, I don't think either of their receivers, Gary Bryant or DeCorian Moore, will play. So that good tight end that Oregon has played last week and did a really nice job. With Oregon, the fact that they are so good running the ball, they don't have that one receiver because Moore is out who it's oh my God, they got to stop this guy. But their tight end is really good. He's the key receiver with Moore out. They just have competent wide receivers, and when they stress the opposing defense the way they do, guys are going to be open and they'll make plays. So just because they don't have a lot of big names and guys with big stats, I'd still be a little afraid of that passing attack just because of how they operate.
No, they do. But yeah, it's not. USC's done well with guys being hurt on the offensive line, so but this is a really good defensive line that USC is going to be facing, and I think the run game is really going to be important for USC. USC stated it against Notre Dame by throwing the ball, but they just couldn't really run the ball that well. By the end of the game, they got it going a little bit better with King Miller, but that was his first ever career start. But I think to help out a little bit, and USC's offense struggled really late in that game when they were forcing things and had a couple turnovers. I think being able to run the football is going to help a lot. So we just need a better effort from that offensive line. If Elijah Page is in or out, whatever, they can get some of those quick hitters with King Miller, and you pick up 5 or 6 yards, and it just changes the offense as opposed to being in 2nd and 9 and 3rd and 8 and stuff like that, and where you're putting a lot of pressure on Mayava to find somebody open and make a big play on the road. So I think that run game is going to be really important for USC, even though the flash is all going to be in the passing game. If you remember, they were not getting the success running the ball, especially on early downs, and I think that really hurt USC's offense at times. It took some really spectacular passing plays to be in it in the Notre Dame game. But they usually are relying on that run game to sort of help balance things out. And it really wasn't there against Notre Dame.
They miss Wayman Jordan against Notre Dame, and they'll miss
sure.
Wayman Jordan against Oregon. King Miller, tremendous story. He has been a plus player. But Wayman Jordan, if both guys are 100% healthy, he would start, obviously, and Miller would be behind him. Take nothing away from Miller. He has an incredible story, doing really well. But Wayman Jordan is kind of that plus player, that alpha in the mold of a Mekhi Lemon, in the mold of Jacoby Lane a little bit. And the plus players this week are huge, especially on paper when you're outmatched. So it's a shame that he's probably not going to play it, but Lincoln Riley didn't totally rule out Jordan playing. He said, I don't think he will. We'll see how he progresses. That was the comment from Tuesday. So I guess we're talking like he's definitely not going to play. Maybe he will. I didn't see him at practice Wednesday, so that's not a great sign. And he had ankle surgery, so if he does come back, it would be a minor miracle. But it sounds like maybe he could, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah.
And looking at like USC's offense coming into the game, do you think this is a game where USC wins with explosive plays or long drives?
So if you watch the Indiana, you want a comp, you would love to have the comp for Oregon being Indiana, the one that they lost at home by 10 points. And Indiana really did control the clock, and I think they had sustained drives. They weren't beating Oregon by going over the top and getting big plays, but they really just kept grinding things out. And I don't know if USC's offense sort of like is built for that. I mean, they can, and you can pick up plays like that, but USC likes to get some big plays in there. But we saw Indiana have success doing that, and obviously give your defense some time to rest, because it's going to be tough trying to keep up with Oregon's run game. So if you can do that, I think that's the preferred way. That's what Indiana did, and it worked pretty well for them.
When you have Mekhi Lemon, explosive pass plays are always a possibility.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll be a little bit of both. I remember that first Northwestern drive. Jade Maeva completed 9 passes after completing only 9 the whole game the week before against Nebraska. So we've seen USC do some of both, where they have had some long drives and then they've had some explosive plays where you blink and King Miller rips off a 55-yard run on third and whatever, and then they score a touchdown a few seconds later. Against Iowa, what was the big play? Where didn't Miller have a big run after there was a play where – or I'm thinking Northwestern. Maeva forced a touchback, and then King Miller had the big run. So that was an example of an explosive play where USC, they took all the momentum back, and one explosive play really piled on. So I think it's going to have to be a little bit of both for them to pull off an upset.
And I think just what I said earlier, the run game, it's really, if you're going to have grind out drives, like it's hard to do it if you're only throwing the football. So if it's 2nd and 10 a lot, then you're like picking up first downs. It's much easier when it's 2nd and 4. Like, okay, now there's a lot more in your offense you can do, and you can play to pick up 4 yards in two downs, move the chains, and do it again. And then I think that's what Indiana did a lot of, and they had a lot of success doing that. So yeah, behoove USC if they can do it. We'll see how they fare.
Don't you kind of feel like Lincoln Riley will have something up his sleeve here? And isn't it a throw the kitchen sink game at Oregon? Doesn't it have to be?
It has to be, but I felt like Notre Dame should have been too, and it wasn't.
Well, clearly there's something off there with that.
Yeah, that was not good. And
they tried that receiver pass play and it blew up in their face.
Yeah, that just seemed like you're trying something for the sake of that wasn't like that was like trying something for the sake of trying something. Yeah. That wasn't
intentional.
Yeah, he knew it was dumb after he did it. It was just kind of silly. This is one though, like Dan Lanning had been talking about for a while, and
they need this game too, Oregon. If they lose and finish 10-2, USC goes in ahead of them, and they would probably miss the playoff unless something crazy happens.
There's a log jam at 10-2. USC's got a good enough resume that I don't think there would be an issue. Now, I think Connor said yesterday that he would
resign if they miss it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on, but I feel like, yes, Oregon's resume is not going to be as good if they lose to USC. Like Washington would probably be their best win if they could win the rivalry game the next week. Michigan being 6-1 in conference only lost to USC. That helps. USC thumped them, and so and that the brand and everything helps too. So I wouldn't worry too much about where USC is now 15. If you go and beat Oregon, it's going to you'll probably swap places with them, and so yeah, I wouldn't worry about that too much. But it is kind of like a playoff game because it's the loot. I mean, for USC, you're out. Obviously, for Oregon, you're not 100% out, but you could be out. And so it's important for both. But Dan Lanning is making this an important game no matter what. There's no overlooking. This is like, hey, we want to go steal all the recruits from down there. We want to embarrass it. We want to show everyone that we are the program on the West Coast. Yeah, we got a half share in the Big Ten, and we weren't the first pick, but we won the Big Ten in year one, and we're going to try to do it again in year, all of that stuff. So we know that this has been circled and stamped and talked about all over the campus at Oregon. Has it been at USC? I don't know.
We'll have to see.
Connor mentioned about the importance of the linebackers in this game. How much pressure do you think USC's defense is under to limit early scoring?
Certainly some pressure based on the last, 4 games they've allowed an opening drive touchdown, right? So you'd like to avoid that if you can. Some, but it depends what it looks like. Where if they allow an opening drive touchdown, but then they start playing better afterwards, you can't go down 2 scores. That's the key. You don't want to go down 2 scores early. If it looks like it did against Iowa early at Austin Stadium, that's not good. The key against Nebraska was at 14-6 at halftime. So it was still
never got to 2 scores.
1-score game.
Yeah.
You can't go down by the 2 scores on the road. What happened against Illinois? Did it ever get to 2 scores in favor of Illinois? I think that one was always pretty tight.
Yeah,
so
I remember.
That's the key. And Oregon is like a Notre Dame where the second in the fourth quarter it got to the 10 points, it was over. So you just cannot go down by 2 scores. So say I give them some leeway. If they allow an opening drive touchdown, that's not ideal, but I don't totally bury them at that point. If it's 10-0 or even 14-0, then it gets a little hairy.
And I think for USC, we've seen them go 3 and out a couple of weeks when they opened, and Notre Dame actually, they drove the ball and they scored a touchdown right on the very first drive. When they couldn't run the ball, they still were able to pass it. That Lake McCree had a great touchdown catch and is sort of put Notre Dame on notice. And that was a great opportunity. And Notre Dame just marched down the field and took the momentum, right back. So I think for USC, if you can get out there and score, being able to hold on the momentum is going to be really important too. You can't get down too much early, but really, if you're able to if you're getting a couple body blows in, don't let them counterpunch right away. Notre Dame just instantly counterpunched every time USC did something good. So don't let that happen. Scoring a crazy touchdown to go up in the third quarter and giving off a 100-yard kickoff return. You can't do stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think you're right. Indy, I think you need to. And, what Connor's saying, just don't go down 2 scores early. You could withstand 1, but the offense got to be moving. And you get down 10 points or something, I think it's going to be
a long night.
Yeah.
10 early isn't the end of the world. 14 early.
It's not the beginning. Yeah.
We have a
nice
super chat from Alex Ruiz. Think Maeva needs to run the ball in this game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Remember when he didn't run against Notre Dame? What the hell was that?
The comp against Notre Dame was their defense was shutting down the run game, and they were really doing a good job in the passing game too. They were, making USC make ridiculous plays. USC still was, but it wasn't going to be as consistent. You get something to soften the defense up a little bit, like Maeva running the ball, and it was avoiding that at all costs. I have no idea why, but there was no way they were going to run the football for whatever reason. I don't think you can do that in this game. I think you're going to get the same result if USC is able to play with Oregon and win. I think Maeva running the ball is going to be a big part of it.
Lincoln Riley has been phenomenal calling plays this year in every game but Notre Dame. He really had a dud in that one.
Yeah. That might be one of my 3 keys, something about Maeva's running in this game. I really do think if he doesn't run, they're not gonna win.
Do you have any big matchups you guys are eyeing that's important for the fans to look at, or any under the radar players that could change the game?
Well, I know the fans will be locked in on the former Trojans who are playing big roles for Oregon.
We had a question about that too.
Emmanuel Pregnon had played left guard all year. He switched to right guard last week, so we'll see where he lines up, and he's been really good for them. And Bear Alexander has come on strong after a slow start, and he's a starter who plays in the middle of that defensive line. So how those guys fare, people will certainly be locked in on those matchups. And I hope that on the USC side, there's maybe animosity is strong, but just some, hey, like, what the hell? Bear is a different situation, but with Emmanuel Pregnon, it's like, you should be on this team. We could have really used you at guard this year. What the heck, man? And maybe the defensive line plays with a little bit more anger than we've seen. So those are two matchups certainly we'll be watching.
Yeah, I think it's just in general, USC's run defense and Oregon's rushing offense. Like, that's where I think you really need to make things work, because you can't let what happened in the Notre Dame game happen in this one. So being able to slow it down, they got three different guys. You got a senior running back and a couple of true freshmen, and they've been running the ball really well. And they're leading the Big Ten in rushing, and USC's 10th in rush defense in the Big Ten. So that's the matchup that you just can't let get out of hand, in my opinion.
Two guys on defense to watch. Jaden Walker, if USC plays three linebackers a lot, he is going to be very important. And then if Kamari Ramsey isn't available, Alex Graham will be someone to watch too, where he played 10 defensive snaps, a career high or a season high for the true freshman last week. And Iowa didn't have a lot of success when USC was in nickel, but Oregon, of course, has a better passing attack. And if he's in there in those nickel packages, I'll be watching him, because this really will be his first action where I think he's going to get a lot of balls thrown his way, and he'll be tested if he's in there. So I look at him and I look at Jaden Walker, two young players on defense who they're going to be asked to do a lot. One of them is, I imagine. If Walker's out there, that would lessen Graham's role and vice versa. So we'll see what Danton Lynn decides to do.
Yeah. I'll throw out like Chinook Hines, just because if, we saw like the Irish do a good job of trying to take away the top options.
Yeah.
And not easy to do, but then it's nice if you can get your third guy to get out there and make some big plays. So I think he could have a big game if you got, Oregon doesn't have the best pass defense out there, but you can try to focus on taking, Lemon or Lane away. So I think Hines could be one of those unsung hero guys where, all right, you take that guy away, but this guy's super fast too, and he could make some big plays.
Oregon true freshman Brandon Finney Jr., a corner. He's a true freshman, but he's been really good for them. And then they have...
He plays mostly outside, and like Lemon plays inside more, so they could move him. We'll see.
I don't think that they would do a Leonard Moore thing, but I didn't think Leonard Moore was going to cover Mekhi Lemon, and I got that wrong. So maybe they switch him. I think their other guys, though, have more experience. Yeah, so Finney has been doing a great job, but those other guys in the defensive backfield, Dylan Thieneman has been really good. He's from Purdue. Sione Lalua is a good corner for them. Jaden Kennedy. They got some good players.
Yeah.
Do you think if USC, obviously goes in on Saturday and wins, how much do you think it'll affect the recruitment kind of layout between Oregon and USC, or do you think it won't have that much significance?
I think that's already set in stone for 2026, where USC's done a really nice job beating Oregon head-to-head with some recruiting battles, and I don't think this game necessarily has a big swing on who guys are going to sign with, because a lot of people are already locked in with their financial stuff. But moving forward, 2027, 2028, if USC gets the number one class and then beats Oregon, I think that's really significant. And if you're a player who's deciding between both, money is, of course, a factor, but I imagine after seeing a USC win, if that's what happens, you'd think, well, not only is this a great situation, but this team just might be better than this other team, and that's huge.
Yeah, no, I think it's really big. And most of the time, it doesn't matter, and people talk about, like, well, this game, like, it doesn't matter to recruits, they don't care. But this is one where it's more like a proof of concept of Oregon has been saying, no, we're the power on the West Coast, and they've been right about it. Like, and so if you can go up there and get a win in an important game that Oregon needs to make the playoff, and they want to get back to the playoff again, and USC needs it to get into the playoff for the very first time, it would be really big. It's something that if it comes down, there's some five-star at Mater Dei that both schools are getting, some of the pitch that Oregon would be giving wouldn't work anymore because USC got the head-to-head win. Now, either school could offer more money or whatever. Like there's different things,
factors.
but I think there's like part of the narrative would go away that you could say that, hey, we're the power on there. And that doesn't mean it's not like Oregon could win the next 5 or 6 or whatever, but it's at least if you're USC, you're like, here's what we're building towards. We've already beat them. We'll do it again, blah, 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 whatever. There's a different narrative you can spin, not the future, but look what just happened. So, I think this one, most individual games don't matter like to recruits, but this one, just because of the nature of it, actually, to me, it actually would. it'd be curious to see what Gerard's, Chris's take on that. But I think it's something that when you're down to, before Oregon could just come in and get the big recruits that were local because USC didn't have their stuff together on the NIL side or the personnel side. Now USC does. So there's advantages of being in Southern California already, and there's advantages of being as successful as Oregon has been and how aggressive they've been. But this was the first year that USC sort of would go head-to-head with Oregon for 4 and 5-star players and win a bunch of them. That just hasn't happened before. Oregon still has the results on the field. They won the Big Ten in the first year, and they were an afterthought to join the Big Ten, and they end up winning the damn conference. So there's stuff, if you're Dan Lanning, and he's a psycho, he's crazy good at all this stuff, that you can sell. And part of it is hey, they're not going to beat us. We're better than them. You beat them on their home turf, and it's okay, so now that's something that's a little harder for Dan Lanning to sell. I think battles would still come down, both teams, and who knows, one might offer a little bit more money or whatever, but it just gives you that little edge of, are you guys better? We just beat you. So there's something that USC, and when they're selling those recruits, there's a little bit more on your side as far as evidence goes, that here's why we're back to where we were and all that kind of stuff.
USC had to rebuild. Oregon with Dan Lanning, I don't want to call it a rebuild because he took over a pretty successful situation. So they're just further along their path than USC is, but at least USC is moving down the path this year and is showing life and rebuilding, and there's belief in Lincoln Riley. So say you do lose to Oregon, I don't think that all just goes away too. So that is a big piece of it, where you can sell future recruits on the hope of what they're building based on USC being 8-2, and if they lose 8-3, and if they win, then that hope and that belief is even stronger.
Yeah, we got a call if we want to.
Let's go.
I don't know if you guys know our buddy Mitch. He's back.
Ah, Mitch.
What's up, Mitch?
How you guys doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm expecting the defensive line has to play well. I hope they do. And we're going to get good games from Lemon and Lane, especially Mekhi Lemon. He's in a Blinkoff run, right? He's named top 3 or top. Hopefully he gets it, and we win finally. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you.
Short and sweet from Mitch tonight.
Yeah, Mekhi
Lemon is a Biletnikoff Award
semifinalist.
semifinalist. I think there were 13 guys. He's right up there. He has a really good chance to win. I don't really know
he
who
leads
would
the Power 4.
be ahead of him right now.
Yeah, there's there's a Yukon guy and a San Jose State guy or something but he, as far as Power 4 receivers go, he has the most yards. Do you know who's second in Power 4, if I'm not mistaken?
For yards?
Yeah.
Is it someone who was on USC last year?
Deuce Robinson, I believe so. He's right up there. He's got over 900 yards or something.
He was a semifinalist too.
He was, yeah. So we have to check the receiving.
And
yards.
Zachariah Branch is having a good year at Georgia too. So
yeah,
sometimes the grass is greener at those other spots, but USC is doing amazing. So it's not like they missed those guys a ton. It was win-win.
Yeah, for Zachariah Branch, I think it makes sense. He's having a nice role there. It's working, and Georgia's good and stuff. If you go to Florida State, coming out of the gate and beating Alabama, you're this is great, and then they just kind of stink. So I don't know if that's
he wanted to be the guy, and he's the guy. So at least it worked out for him with that. But
that's true.
Wouldn't you rather be on a team fighting for the playoff? And he could rival Jacoby Lane, Deuce Robinson, for the number 2 spot if he had come back, but. We don't have to talk about this. We've talked a lot about those guys leaving in the past.
I'm going to look it up here.
We've got a...
Ooh.
From Ethan Alexander. Max Brown said the lead up to this game and the vibe reminds him of the 2011 game in Autzen. Ryan, you were there. You were around then. Does it actually feel similar, or do you think he was just saying that?
Yeah, I saw Max Brown tweet or post something about that. That was different just because... Lane Kiffin had taken over, and Lane Kiffin was brilliant in this one, by the way. So it was cold, and I don't remember if it was snowing cold, but it was cold, and Lane Kiffin was in full on ski outfit. He made it look like this is a miserable place to be. Why would you want to go?
Yes, I remember.
Do you remember? Yeah, he had the beanie on and everything. And if I remember correctly, USC like got out to a big lead and then like held on against Chip Kelly. But USC like I think the sanctions were was that the sanctions or just starting, or maybe it was next year was happening or whatever. And I didn't get the same vibes, at least for what he was doing there. But that was definitely different. And yeah, I think USC's in a different spot with that. Like Lane was sort of like taking over for Pete Carroll and trying to figure things out. This is you're like year 4 of Lincoln Riley. They're trying to build things back up again, but it's to me it's just different situations. But
I can't really speak to it. But was that the last time USC went up there? I think
yeah,
something?
2011,
yeah.
I think.
So,
real quick. So as far as receiving yards leaders, a guy from Danny Scudero from San Jose State, then Skylar Bell from UConn, and then Mekhi Lemon. Those are the 3 guys that are over 1,000 yards. But there's a Texas State guy, and then Deuce Robinson's 5th. So he's second in Power 4 with 947 yards. So, yeah.
Good for him.
So, second and 2 former, one current USC Trojan, 1 former USC Trojan leading Power 4 in receiving yards.
not bad.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the debate over the weather on Saturday?
Oh.
Is it going to rain now? What's
I don't
the
know.
debate?
I don't know, actually. I think somebody said that maybe it was like 10% or something. I don't know.
Yeah, 10%
some people were
Google,
talking
but
about
Again,
possible weather.
I try not to get into
Looks
it
sunny.
too much.
Looks sunny.
Yeah, it looks
and
sunny.
good.
It looks like nice. I've done a bunch of like Oregon radio, and they've all said it was going to be sunny. So
There you go, then.
that's what you want.
Did you
Debate
think
is
the
squashed.
Iowa game, there was weather that affect the game?
Didn't see. I couldn't even tell. It was pretty dry in the press box. Was it wet? I couldn't tell.
Well, you admit that you were wrong about the rain.
Oh no, I'm not wrong about the rain. Like that's not something to worry about. Like I'm not worried
First
about
half,
the weather.
it was something to worry about.
They played like crap. It rained a lot in the second half, and they played better.
Stopped in the third quarter, and that's when they turned it around.
It rained a lot in the fourth quarter, and
yeah,
they
but
played well.
the game was over.
So it didn't matter when. Okay, so when it rained a
At least
lot.
it'll be sunny on Saturday.
Yes, I don't.
Yeah.
think,
For now.
I don't think there's a weather debate. I'm
Okay,
seeing
good.
10% chance of rain, 77% humidity, no wind, 51 degrees,
Yeah.
partly
Oh.
cloudy. That's pretty
But
good.
for like
That's
the
really good then.
like looking at when we first started looking at the Iowa game, I think it was only supposed to rain on Thursday, and then everything else. And then all of a sudden,
It was going to
by
rain.
our Thursday show, it was like it was going to be atmospheric river and all that stuff. And it was right. Like there was an atmosphere. Like Saturday was crazy bad. It rained Friday and like some Sunday, but it was supposed to go like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like it would. That's what they said. And then you get to it like, oh, Monday and Tuesday weren't bad at all. Today we've got some rain. But the day that was like I think accurate was the Saturday. Like it was like going to be like this.
That was going to be the worst. Of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
rain.
and it ended up
and
being
was,
that. It ended
yeah.
up being that. But like all these other days, like you looked at Monday and Tuesday were supposed to be bad, and
Yeah.
then they did not be
Yeah.
bad. So I mean, yeah, it just changes a lot. But Saturday was like atmospheric river, crazy conditions out there, and I give USC a lot of credit for, playing in Iowa weather. And Iowa just played in that the week before. This is the weirdest year as far as weather goes for USC. They played in lightning and rain and all this kind of stuff, and
no snow, though. That's good.
yeah, no snow yet. Like there have been some. I think the Colorado game a few years ago, there was some snow or whatever, or maybe it was. I forget what it was. Yeah, but they all mixed together. I think Keely on one of the things like I threw snowballs at her or something because I don't know if she had been around snow if I remember correctly, but yeah. So but it's nice though that the weather's not going to be because when
good.
we were like in the press box looking at the Oregon game, like oh,
was
it's going to
gonna, like,
rain
rain,
and all
yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
No,
Well, that's
but
good.
Weather and early kick, I think, favors USC.
Yeah.
I do like it. Yeah, no, the game day, like as far as like drunken people going, like they're going to probably be drinking early because it's game day. That's 6 a.m. You got to be out there or whatever. They got like 3 hours to tailgate, sober up, and then get in there. If it's a night game, like they're going to
Yeah.
be going bananas and it'll be crazy. But I think the environment's going to be rocking. Talking
It's
to
a
some of the Oregon
blackout game?
people, blackout. Yeah, they're going to do. USC's already played in one of those. They're 1-0 in blackout games, I guess.
Favors us.
But talking to some of the Oregon people, the Indiana game was huge, but they're still looking at this as like being like bigger, even though Indiana's ranked higher and all that stuff, just because it's like the recruiting. Like, you're not recruiting the same dudes as Indiana usually.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to try to recruit some of the same guys as USC.
Some people in the chat were talking about if Lemon declares for the draft after this season. Is
I'd
it
say
worth
when he declares for the
exactly?
draft.
That's what I think. He's gone for sure. When he declares for the draft, if Deuce Robinson puts himself back in the portal, is it worth trying to go after him again? Some people are talking about.
That's like,
That's a funny fan question. No
Yeah.
chance is he coming back.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Pull a
think
Kyle Ford? I don't think so.
Yeah, the Kyle Ford thing
That
was
was
very
nuts.
unique.
Never seen anything like that.
No, I wouldn't think that he's doing well there. You know.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
The team's-
Kyle Ford hated UCLA because they didn't throw the ball and they didn't have a competent quarterback. Deuce Robinson's the number one receiver.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
leaving.
he's not leaving. Someone said leading receiver will be Lake McCree in this game.
Okay.
You better hope not.
Thoughts on the tight ends?
I was gonna say
in this game.
if that's the case, USC probably loses.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
Not probably. Like,
will.
yeah. I could do that as a key to the game. Lake McCree not
Not
be the
being
leading
receiver.
Yes. No, I mean, I think you want to get the tight ends involved.
They've been quiet lately.
Yeah, they've been a little quiet, but getting them involved is important. Not being the leading receiver, because like I think you're going to need some dynamic plays made in this game, and we've seen Mekhi Lemon when he gets the ball in space or deep balls that you've thrown to Lane, and he's broken some big ones too. But you know, those are the kind of plays that it's like, oh, it's great. It's like, oh, it's 3rd and 6, and Lemon catches a ball like 10 yards down the field and then makes somebody miss, and now it's like, whoa, now it's just first down. It's like big play, potential touchdown. You know, you're not going to see a bunch of that from McCree. So if he's going to be your leading receiver, there's stuff that just didn't go right in some of the other aspects of the game.
Do we have some questions?
We do. We got some questions.
Yeah.
I'll start with our first one.
If you want to call in too, it's 512-4-TUNNEL. We only had Mitch call in today, so we got. Do you guys not care about the Oregon game? What's going on here? Let's go.
We get
Call
more,
in. We want to hear from
Hear
you.
it up.
We
Let's
get
go.
more on Sunday.
Yeah.
This is from Andrew. Connor, did Coach ever talk to you guys off air about the burn the boats question?
No, and I don't know if or when that will happen, but we'll see. Maybe. Should I fill people in on that? So
Yeah,
just
fill 'em
real
in.
quick. Chris and I noticed a burn boat on the practice field Tuesday and Wednesday. We didn't ask Lincoln about it on Tuesday just because we wanted to get more information and just try to figure out exactly what it was, but it was exactly what it looked like. Apparently they They burned a canoe-sized, like, small boat, and they brought it to practice because after that Notre Dame game, Lincoln Riley talked about burning the boat, so they did that, and I asked him today, whose idea was it? Who burned it? How'd they burn it? Where'd they burn it? Why'd they burn it? And he said, I plead the fifth, and we'll catch up offline. So will
There
we
you
ever
go.
catch up offline, Ryan? What do
No,
you think?
I don't think so.
We've got a major.
Oh,
Hold
whoa.
on now. Jeff was not here. Since I won't be at this game, first round is on me.
Wow.
Jeff, that's super sweet of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's a good way to tell everybody, too. If you're going
Thanks,
to the
Jeff.
Pacific Northwest, yeah, that's awesome, Jeff. Thank you. It's great. Yeah, he's always coming out there.
And a perfect segue to your next point.
Yeah, we're going to be, if you're going into Portland, we're flying in on Friday, and we're going right over to 10 Barrel Brewery. We went there 2 years ago. It was a lot of fun. Bunch of USC fans should be there Friday night. We'll get there probably like 7, but I think some people are showing up earlier at 6. So if it's downtown Portland location, there's multiple locations for 10 Barrel. And yeah, show up there, have some drinks. First round, Jeff's got us, so that's really nice of
Yeah,
him.
thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Shout out, Jeff. Thank you. Our next question is from Bolo Trio. It's Daffy Duck Week. Best nickname for them, bird brains. The floats, the puddles, or the webfoots. Fun fact, those last two names are actual names they used.
Yeah, one of our users on the podcast of Champion goes by Webfoot. Or actually, yeah, they do that. Yeah, I think they embrace all the duck stuff.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah, they don't embrace the zeros. That's the one that.
Yeah, they don't
USC
like the
fans
zeros thing. That's the biggest
use.
burn is always like the 10,000 uniform combinations, 0 national champions, and all that stuff. That's that's the one that probably they don't like the most.
We've got a question from Big E for SC. Does Oregon have players on defense who can shadow, play single coverage on Lemon like Notre Dame did, or do we expect him to get more double coverage?
It's a great question. Their outside receiver is that outside cornerback is that true freshman who's been really good. So do we expect him to, in this early stage of his career, switch and play more on the inside like we saw Leonard Moore do? Moore's a young player too, but he had at least had a year of experience under his belt. So that's a big question. I would imagine that because he's a true freshman, they'll put him on lane. That's Finney I'm talking about, and then double team Lemon with either a safety and a slot corner or another cornerback. I think that's how they go, but I didn't think, again, Moore would cover Lemon, and that happened, so I don't rule anything out.
Yeah, and we see Lemon goes outside sometimes too. It's just, I think...
The split, he's in the slot much more, and the last few weeks even more so, but he does line up on the outside too sometimes.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I agree with Connor. I think it's probably not going to be... That was very targeted for Lemon, and I think there's going to be a lot of focus on him, but it might be more of the rolling coverages over and just having more bodies assigned to him, is my guess.
We've got a question from, let's see, Ducky Bent. Which former Trojan do you guys, gal, think they missed more, Bear Alexander or Emmanuel Pregnon? For me, it's EP. He was our best lineman. Seeing him ball out hurts. His stock is soaring.
Yeah, no, he was the best lineman for USC last year. If he's the best lineman for Oregon, I mean, that makes a big difference. And I think the timing was what hurt USC there because they didn't have their personnel department in order, and then they bring in, the whole group of everybody, Chad Bowden and all the different personnel people. But Pregnon had already gone to the portal and took off. I think if they hire him a month earlier, it could be a different story, So with Bear Alexander, that was all kind of weird stuff. But Pregnon, to me, yeah, he's the biggest loss. They needed him badly. They went out and got DJ Wingfield from Purdue, and then he ends up being ineligible. So it's worked out well. They've been able to backfill and figure things out. But that would have been just, having Page and him right next to each other would have made the rest of the line that much, better.
Just talking about players only, none of the off-the-field stuff, I think they miss Bear more. He's been really good the last few weeks. They've gotten pretty good guard play. Pregnon would be better than what they have, but Tobias Raymond and Alani Noah and Kalen Miller, those guys have been pretty good. It's the tackles who at times have given USC some trouble a little bit, but just another really impactful guy. I do think if, again, only talking about what he's done on the field, if Bear Alexander, was on this USC defense, he'd be the best interior defensive lineman on the team, which I think is more valuable than a guard, even though the guard's really good, especially considering USC's guard play has been pretty good.
Yeah, I guess Bear probably needed a change of scenery.
Yeah,
not that
exactly.
Because he's been at the same high school and college forever. Oh, no, wait, he switched every year. Yeah, that was one of those things. But it's worked out well. Eighth time's a charm, how many high schools and how many colleges you go.
The bottom line is he's a good player.
He's playing really well, but you didn't have it click at Georgia, you didn't have it click at USC, and then give Dan Lanning credit, give the staff credit, Tasha Poi, all those guys, because it's working there. And I think maybe it was a slower start than we thought, but it's gone off well. Yeah, but I think just if he stayed at USC, I don't know if you'd be getting this.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't. That's why I'm saying only based on what they've done on the field.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Huntington Harvey. Has USC ever used 13 personnel this year?
I don't think so. Three tight ends. If they did, then maybe Hayden Treater, the offensive lineman, came in and lined up as technically a tight end, but I don't even know who the third, I guess it would be Carson Tabarachi. I don't think he's ever been on the field with the other two tight ends. Now, it's been all 11 and there's the one tight end too. Sometimes.
People love it. I mean, what the Rams have been doing it. Who else? There's did the Patriots do it or no? There's
with 3 tight ends.
Yeah, the Rams have done
Patriots
it a bunch.
Doing that.
The Rams have done it a bunch, and I think there was another NFL team that was doing that more. But I don't. Maybe it's happening in college too. But I've mostly seen it. There's a couple teams in the NFL that were doing it.
Someone said they did it once in the red zone.
Okay. And shotgun would probably No, maybe did Shotgun say that or someone else said that?
Yeah.
Wade Thackeray.
Okay. They've done it once. I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah. But I think the Rams are making it like popular. Like so,
Who the hell are their 3 tight ends? I haven't watched much of the Rams.
They have 4 because they have Colby Parkinson and but they've.
Higbee, is he still there?
I think Higbee's still there. Like they're catching passes, and it's like there was one of the games they like I think all 4 of them got a touchdown or 3. Like it was something kind of crazy. Yeah, but they've been doing a lot of like the 13 personnel.
Okay.
And it'll be like Devontae Adams with them, or maybe Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
So it's weird. You're taking like Puka off the field.
Interesting.
But they do a lot of it with that. Yeah.
One negative of this job, not really being able to lock in on the NFL the way I would like.
Yeah, no. It's just I just watched some of the Ram stuff, but yeah.
This is from Big E for SC. Need an episode just where we chat exclusively about weather forecast impacts, ND scheduling, and if pension funds have a fiduciary duty to diversify their investments would be absolute fire. Not so much a question, but a comment.
I'll sit that one out.
Yeah, no, and I got some more, like, it's
You
funny.
do that one solo.
Because we were talking about the, like, I'm like, why would the UC Investments, which is like the, pension fund for the University of California system, like, just put it in mutual funds or whatever, put it in the S&P 500. And then someone came in the chat and they were telling us, and I talked to other people too, and they're like, oh no, they have to be all this diversification going on. And I think the UC investments, like, I think it's like 200 billion or 100 billion. It's a lot, like way more than the 2.5 billion that they were going to put into Big Ten enterprises, as a 10% stake. But they do like these crazy kind of investments, which seems counterintuitive to me because it's like the pension fund of whatever. And I think they were targeting like 12 or 13% return over time, which like you're doing these sort of, outside the box investments like a venture capitalist would do, where you're buying companies or investing in these companies. I have some friends that work in that industry, and they're like, yeah, you have to be like super diversified and all that stuff. It was very counterintuitive. Like, this is what you would have. But then realizing like how many billions of dollars that pension fund has, it's just like, oh my God. So they already have billions in the S&P 500 index fund. Like, they got to find billions to put all over the place. So
again, Connor Morrissette Enterprises. It's not that hard.
Craziness. Yeah. So that's nuts. But just in general over that, like if you want to like what happened, you're just the high level. USC and Michigan stood up to this proposal. They said this is bull crap, maybe for a little bit different reasons, and they won. The Big Ten tried to strong arm them and say, well, we could move on without you two. And then the entity that was going to provide the $2.5 billion was like, no, we are not going without Michigan and USC. So so that's a win. You like it. So USC wanted to be on the top tier where they should have been. They pushed back on it. I don't know how much they don't like the payday loan aspect of it anyway. I think a lot of people don't. A lot of the boards don't, but not everybody. And there's different aspects of the lower tier teams maybe don't like the financial deal, but they like the deal that they get tied to everybody else for 20 years, so then they can't be left out in the cold. So there's different reasons why people like or dislike it. And it was important that 2 of the bigger brands said no. The Big Ten tried to strong arm them. They said pound sand. And then the investor with the $2.5 billion said, we're not doing this without them.
Well summarized. Thank you.
Just summarize it for you.
Last question we've got. Do you guys think Lynn will have something up his sleeve, mixing up fronts and more delayed stunts to confuse Dante Moore and make him force throws?
A lot of up the sleeve talk today.
Well, that's what happens when you're an underdog. Sure. I think the most important thing is just the gap assignment integrity on the running plays, where when they go back to pass, of course, getting pressure on Moore is huge, but they just want to run the ball. So be in the right spot, be in the right position when they run, and then when they go to the pass, if they beat you through the air, so be it. But if USC has the upper hand on that running game, that's just where I start. I think that's a little bit more important than exotic blitzes and doing stuff to try to confuse Moore, which is, of course, important too, but just don't get road graded by that offensive line in the run game. That's the major key.
Yeah, I think that if he looks up his sleeve, he has to say, okay, when Dante Moore turns around, gets the snap, turns around, and hands it off to one of those guys, he can't just run through a hole where there's no linebacker and they just run for 15 yards before somebody touches them. You can't have that stuff happening. So that's what you need to have up your sleeve. I don't know about the other stuff, but just allow them to just bully through you and show one way and the linebackers go there, and then you just run through this wide open hole that your offensive line opened up. So can't let that happen. That's what you have to have up your sleeve.
Should we do score predictions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Who's going first?
I need a second to pull up my email to Ryan.
I can go. Let me give you a couple. So the Bear, do you guys know?
The show?
Chris Felica.
Oh,
No.
okay,
He's
yes.
got a buddy that, like, we're not buddies, but like we've been friends on Twitter and
Big
stuff.
fan of him. Yep.
I like him a lot. Big in the gambling world. He does his Bear bites, and there were some interesting tidbits he threw out there, and there was a bunch of them on the Big Ten and a couple for USC. One, USC has lost 8 straight, and that's 0-5 under Lincoln Riley games as a road underdog. In its last 21 games as a road dog, USC's pulled just 2 upsets, and it's 5-16 against the spread. So
Wow.
not good.
But isn't Riley good against the spread? I saw something where he's been good against
They
the spread.
technically got the cover against Notre Dame, but it was 9.5
and they got
forever.
the cover against Oregon 2 years ago.
Yeah, so maybe that, like, I don't know, but that was the Irish one. That's a questionable cover because it switched to 10.5 like right before kickoff or whatever. But and then Oregon has outgained Power 4 opponents by 212.5 yards per game this season. They average 7.3 yards per carry. Both of those numbers are best in the country. So USC's not played well on the road. They've done a really good job in the last few weeks, and one of them being on the road against Nebraska. But I think there's just going to be – I think Oregon circled this the way Notre Dame circled this. All my mind's going back to the Notre Dame game. I think USC is going to do some good things and play well, but I like Oregon in this one. I think it's like 30-20. And
Only 20 for USC?
Yeah, I'm going to go 30-20, and yeah, USC does not get the cover. We're doing 9.5. I think the spread's moved up to 10.5, but
Oh, has it?
Really?
like for my we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to go 30-20.
Am I drinking too much Kool-Aid?
I don't know.
It's up to 10 on DraftKings. So
Okay.
It's been going between 10.5 and 9.5. So I have Oregon 30-28. I'm buying in. I think the team has something up their sleeve. That seems to be the expression of the night.
It does.
I'm buying into the improvement that we've seen from the defense, where I just think Oregon's going to have to earn what they're going to get, where I don't envision major coverage busts and big crazy runs where USC's out of position. I think the coaching staff has gotten through to them more than they did earlier in the year, just with reps and just you want to be getting better at the end of the year, and I think that's what's happening. So I have Oregon winning 30-28 in a tight game, but your pick makes me a little nervous.
It does? Okay. My bear facts or whatever it was.
Not the Bear facts. You think they're only going to get 20 points, which is possible, but the weather's good. It's early in the day. It's clicking with him. Offensive line, I didn't love what I saw from the tackles, but I think that they'll be okay for the most part. So maybe I'm just foolish, but I don't know. I think it's going to be close, and I give USC a real shot.
I think USC has a shot to win this game. I'm just like, and I've been bad. This is good for you guys. I've been bad at predicting. The only one, there's
So
only
have
one
I.
person that's
So
been
maybe
worse
they're
than
gonna
me. Yeah, I'm not gonna say who has been worse.
Can't be me.
Oh, maybe, but that's okay. Your first time ever picking against the spread.
I'm terrible. I'm not automatic.
The spreads are tough.
but you're getting the language right.
I
India,
am. I'm
so
finally.
That's good.
I'm finally
Yeah.
getting it. So this whole week, I think USC has a great shot to win. And you know what? Since I'm always really bad with covering and not covering, and I want SC to win, obviously, so I just went with the opposite. So I don't think that USC will cover.
I feel better about my pick.
Fading yourself.
Yeah. And I think Oregon is going to win 34-23. But I think it's going to be a close game in the first half, and I think Oregon is going to pull away a little bit.
Wait, okay, so hold on.
Yeah, what are you actually thinking? What are you not really thinking?
Yeah, so yes. So you're trying to go against yourself. So you're picking.
I'm picking Oregon winning and USC not covering. But, like, deep in my heart of hearts, I think USC can win.
Okay.
You covered all your bases. I love it.
I'm covering all my
Okay.
bases.
All right. So
Exactly,
you're
because
taking.
such a poor record on this. So
So
covering all my
you're-
bases.
You're fading yourself.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's okay.
Every gambler knows what
Exactly.
you're doing. We've all been there.
Yep.
It's terrible when you got to fade yourself. But
Yep.
sometimes that's what you got to do.
That's where I'm
No.
at, guys.
Yeah, and I've done that sometimes. Like my record's been bad. I'm like, you know,
know
like
what?
it's better for everything if it goes the other way. But I'm going
Exactly.
to pick the opposite. Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
No problem.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we got some predictions in there.
we have a call at the buzzer if you want.
Oh,
Oh, we just got one. Okay, this is Reggie. Reggie? I think Reggie's got.
Hello?
Hey, Reggie, can you turn something down?
Hello?
Yeah, Reggie.
there's a
I
lot
think-
of feedback.
Yeah, I think you're listening on
to
a
us.
Okay.
turn. Yeah, turn
Is that better?
the volume down on your computer or whatever. Yeah.
There we
Is that
go.
better?
Yes.
Okay,
Wait,
but
no,
it's
turn
not
that.
Reggie's Rodolfo.
It's back.
It's Rodolfo, not Reggie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just have a basic question. Because I got it late, and what is the information on the status on Elijah and also Kamari?
All right.
Do you feel that we're going to stick to running more of a 4-3-4 with maybe perhaps if Kamari's good to go to be like a little, creep up a little and spy on the running game? Especially since Dante has a tendency to just run when he doesn't really see something in the first 1.3 to 2.1 seconds.
Okay, we're gonna have to drop. There's too much noise going. Thank you
But
for
we
the call.
heard, at least I heard the
Yeah.
question. So it sounds like Kamari Ramsey's going to be a game time decision. Elijah Page, don't have any information with him. Maybe not. Chris isn't very confident. He came out with the knee braces yesterday, so we can't see anything, but that at least makes it look like he was doing stuff. So I wish I had more information for you. What was his name? It wasn't Reggie.
No, it says Reggie on the screen, but then he
But
said
that
it was
wasn't
something
it.
else. But I couldn't hear it
That
because
was savage. You said you've got to go. We're gonna.
Well, yeah, it was,
we're gonna
feed-
cancel the
too
call.
much
no, it's
It
yeah,
was.
there
It was.
yeah.
It was.
And
Yeah,
then
a
as
lot of
for-
feedback.
You can hear like if you call in, you can listen to the show on
I
the
thought
phone.
I heard my voice at one point. In the
Yeah, so
background
you
of
can
feedback.
just listen on your phone. You don't need the computer going
For
to
sure.
because then it's
It's a
like a
lot of
delay.
feedback.
Yeah, there was a lot.
But you were like, enough of this.
And then as
I tried to give him the chance. So
That was
Connor was like, "Cut that."
That was
well,
funny.
yeah, it's bad radio.
It was.
You
It was.
can't hear anything. As for the second thing, what will they play? I think they have to start with the three linebacker stuff, right? Don't you think that's where they'll start?
I think you have to. It didn't work out well to start against Notre Dame, but it should have. It should have been like USC did much better in nickel against the run than with three linebackers against the run, which is counterintuitive, but it just shows that they weren't in sync there as far as the linebacker play goes, and just the whole front seven wasn't doing what they needed to do, filling the right gaps, fitting the run the way they needed to. And Notre Dame, did some stuff and really got USC in the wrong place. So I think you have to try that, but you have to have better success than you did against Notre Dame.
Against Iowa, USC brought a safety a lot closer to the line of scrimmage because they weren't afraid of the pass in the second half, and I don't think you can do that against Oregon, but maybe they'll try. We'll see if they want to go that route. That's something that they could also do to try to help stop the run, but I think that's a little risky.
We got another call too.
Oh,
Hopefully it's a little clearer.
Don't really have info on this caller.
we'll wait and see.
Trying to.
They
bring
might
it up.
still be screening if you can't bring them on. Oh, no, here we
Oh.
go.
Oh,
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
this is Alex. It was Alex Reese. I was calling in because I really do believe, I keep hearing that they have a very highly rated defense. Their defensive back, the kid Finney. But I really believe we're going to be able to move the ball on them in the pass game. And I think they haven't played anybody good except Indiana, and they lost. So those are my thoughts.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
I see Oregon get no credit for winning at Penn State because Penn State started to suck, and they're not as good as everyone thought, clearly. But
They're still really talented.
that was going in there
was a
at
crazy
night and winning that
environment.
game. I give them credit for that.
Yeah,
win.
you got to give them credit for that.
they pretty much got James Franklin fired. If they had played
Yeah.
any other Big Ten team outside of Ohio State, I don't know who goes.
UCLA got James Franklin.
Well, yes, but that started the ball got the ball rolling. And what I'm trying to say is, Ohio State could go in there and win. Oregon could go in there and win at night in that atmosphere. I mean, the game went into overtime. I don't know if there's any other Big Ten team that could have gone in there and won. It's just such a tough spot.
Yeah.
So I give them credit for that. But, yeah, to Alex's point, they did lose to Indiana at home, which, man, Kurt Cignetti has those boys rolling. That is crazy what he's been doing. So that's a definite thing for USC to look at, a blueprint. That's the word I'm looking for. And I just wonder if USC's linebackers can play like Indiana's linebackers, because that was such a major key in that game.
They need to, and I don't think USC's played like that at the linebacker spot.
Somebody just said in the chat, Gentry and Stevens combined for 3 tackles against Northwestern.
They still were in their right positions, though, I'd say. So, especially in the second half, USC did a nice job against the run.
For sure.
I wanted to say one other thing, but then I just forgot. So, must not have been that important. Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe it was about the weather or something. Or
on USC being able to move the ball against Oregon. I agree with that. If you watch that Minnesota game, Minnesota came in, they didn't think they were going to win. That was a pathetic offensive display from them. USC is so much better than Minnesota, of course.
Yeah. And that was a weird Friday game, flying Midwest to Pacific Northwest. And yeah.
I agree with Alex that I do think USC will be able to move the ball.
Yeah. And the weather should be good. Wisconsin went there, and it was like 21-7 or whatever, but that was, monsoon.
That's a game where you just need to get to 20 and you win.
Yeah.
Wisconsin stinks.
They're bad. They're actually keeping
getting
things
better
close.
now that Fickle.
They're like covering. They're covering spreads.
Their offense stinks.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The defense is pretty good. But this is going to be you're going to get the full force of the Oregon football machine, led by Landanning, going forward. I mean, you're going to have to play. If USC wins this game, it's going to be well earned, because you're going to have to play really well, in my opinion. I think Oregon's going to take this game seriously, come out and pull out all the stops. You might see some crazy trick play stuff. Who knows? Maybe USC breaks out the fake punt again. Whatever.
Again?
Yeah, they did it before.
No, I know, but I think you got to switch it up.
Yeah, do it again.
Maybe Sam Johnson throws this time.
Oh, it's true.
That could be
And
cool.
he does it left-handed, even though he's not left-handed. I don't think he's left-handed.
I don't think
Interception all the way back.
that would
Yeah.
go over well.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So.
Well, I think we're good.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Woohoo.
Thank you, Shotgun, for your good comments in the
Yes.
chat. It's amazing that he can just recall, oh, yeah, they did 13 personnel twice against this team, It was Carson Tabarachi. The guy knows every play, and it's
Like
very
the back
impressive.
of his hand.
I mean, how many plays have
He
there
also
been?
has a spreadsheet he looks at.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Are you not giving him credit?
No, I'm giving him credit.
He did that spreadsheet. That's hard to do.
It is, yeah.
Very impressive.
Would you like to start taking over that job?
No. That's why I'm the boss man.
Because I wouldn't.
He delegates.
That's hard.
That's
a lot
it.
of work.
Yeah.
That's all. Any last thoughts?
Enjoy the game. This is where you want to be. Relevant. The game of the week in the Big Ten, 2 weeks in a row. The most important game. It's game day is going to be there. That doesn't happen if USC isn't good. If you watch any of the college football shows or listen to the radio, podcasts, this is the game people are talking about first. So that's where you want to be. USC be relevant again. Now the next step is winning the game. So we'll see. I will give, if Lincoln Riley and this team go up there and get a win in the Pacific Northwest, give them a ton of credit. But this was a step to get here, be relevant, be the game that everyone's talking about, and be that team. And a lot of people still I don't think I believe in USC, and prove people wrong. I think Lincoln Riley has shown it's a chip on his shoulder, talking about game day. They weren't giving him credit and say where they're going to stink and stuff. So there could be something there. I like that.
I liked what he had to say today. It's going to take me forever to bring it up, but all the noise around the team, Riley was like, well, they all pretty much, they all thought we were going to stink. So that noise, it doesn't hold any water with our team, because everyone who's now talking us up thinks or thought that they weren't very good. So the staff is doing a really nice job of building up that us versus them mentality.
Yeah.
And it's us against the world. And
Don't pick us.
yeah,
And then
I do think that is significant.
Yeah, they'll go play well. And, I think this is important to not get blown out. Like, you shouldn't get the scores that India and I are talking about.
Yep.
But I don't expect them to get blown out. Do you? Like, that would really surprise me. If they lost by, 20 points,
No,
I'd be
I don't
shocked.
expect that either. But, you can't do that because that's going to be...
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, a close loss is like, hey, man, you went and fought hard against this team.
They're in every game pretty much.
Yeah. You just can't. I don't want to see the Notre Dame thing happen again, where they fell apart in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, don't give up a kick return touchdown.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, but enjoy the game. It should be a lot of fun. There's not a lot of great Big Ten games this weekend.
Yeah.
This is the one. 2 weeks in a row, basically, this is the game you'd want to watch.
That's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. The guys and Riley will be back on Sunday to discuss the post-game Oregon versus the Trojans. Enjoy the game. Again, if you're going to the game, meet the guys in Portland. First round is on Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
I don't think it's going to cover everybody, but it'll cover us.
We'll cover exactly.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
And enjoy the game. Thank you guys for tuning in.